Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So you guys can see I got this cute little coaster here. She'll be probably in and out because she is going to most likely be playing. Right now she's eating gummy worms though. Are those good? I don't want none. You wanna see her? So today's video is going to be a Q&A. I wanted to do some type of sit down video that I could pre-record so that I have a video out for Mother's Day. So if you guys are all watching this on Mother's Day, hi, happy Mother's Day to you guys. I hope your day is as best as it can be given the circumstances with everything going on. I asked over on my Facebook group for a couple of questions and if you guys were interested in a Q&A, and a lot of you were, so I just went ahead and asked for questions. So I'm going to go ahead and get into those. Hi. I love you. So the first person asked, it's Ashley and York. I'm assuming it's a joint Facebook, but she asked, the question is, how is you and your family doing during this pandemic? It's okay. It's very stressful because that little one just wants to get out. She wants to run. She wants to play. But it's not quite nice enough for us to be outside for an extended period of time. So it sucks because she wants to get out, and we're used to being able to go shopping, or I used to just pack her into the car and go to Walmart for no reason, just to look around to get us out of the house. And we can't do that now. It was a stink bug. A stink bug like flew by her. And then she also asked how Ella's eating is going. It's better for the most part. Some days it's worse than others. Like yesterday she ate maybe 10 bites all day. I couldn't get her to eat anymore. It's careful. It's pretty stressful actually, trying to get her to eat, and I do offer her multiple things throughout the day. What? And she's at this stage right now where she doesn't, like, she knows what she wants, but she can't communicate it to me. Anyways, that's why we've been giving her the Carnation Breakfast Essentials every morning with breakfast. I give it to her in a sippy cup of milk. No, baby. No, no, no. You don't get my camera. No camera for you. But I do that so that I know she's at least getting nutrition into her. I'd rather her have that than, like, worry about forcing her to eat something. The next question is from Tanya. Tanya? I think it's Tanya. Probably Tanya. She asked, do you plan on getting Ella and any future children any pets to grow up with? Honestly, I would love to get her a little dog or a cat. Probably not a cat because I don't hate cats, but they're little demons, I swear. Honey, that's empty. Go get your juice. Your juice is over there. Give me that. Oh, it's empty, honey. I don't want you sucking air out of it. Your juice is over on the table. Oh, yeah. Go get it. Hide that real quick. Anyways, I am allergic to cats and dogs. And dogs are not great for us to have in the house due to all the pet hair. And yes, they do have the hypoallergenic ones. Like Chihuahuas are supposed to be hypoallergenic or whatever, because I don't know what it is. But anyways, even my mother-in-law's Chihuahuas agitate my allergies more. When we go over there for extended periods of time, I'm sneezing, I get more stuffed up than usual, and it's just not great. So I would love to get her a dog, but as of where I stand with my allergies and stuff, I just don't foresee that happening. I'd love to get a little pet pig to be a pet that they can grow up with. And we almost had one before she was born, but someone got to him before I could. And it's just, cats and dogs aren't great. Fish, that's not really that fun, I feel, for kids to have as a pet, because they can't get them out and play with them, you know? I don't do guinea pigs. I don't do any kind of rodent or any kind of reptile. None of those. And then Alexis asked, do you discipline Ella yet? If so, what discipline techniques do you use? And also, how do you handle tantrums? So Ella does kind of get disciplined right now. No, honey, you can't have my phone. She does kind of get disciplined. So on occasion, I've put her in timeout, I think maybe 2 times at most, maybe 3. And it's because of stuff that she knows better. Like, she absolutely knows better. And she would do it anyways. And I was putting her in her high chair with nothing. And it was brought to my attention that that's not a great place, because she could start to think of her high chair as a place of discipline. And that might be what it could contribute to why she doesn't eat. So I stopped doing that. She actually hasn't really been that bad as the last couple of days. Here, watch out. Let me get it out for you. Hang on. There you go. Discipline techniques I use is occasionally I will give her a little swat on the butt. Nothing too hard, obviously. Just enough to realize that, like, you know, hey, I shouldn't be doing that. It's not hard. It doesn't leave a mark. I'm not that type of mom. I don't beat the living crap out of my child. But I do give her a little pat now and again. And also, how do I handle tantrums? So tantrums, I will sit her, if she's crying and I pick her up and she gets worse, I'll set her down away from all of her toys. I will ask the Echo Dot to set a timer for 1 minute or 2 minutes or even up to 5 minutes. And at the end of that time, if she is still crying, then she goes down into her room for about 10 minutes for silent time. No lights. You know, it's dark in her room, like if she were to be taking a nap or going to bed. All she gets is her blanket, her pillow, her stuffed animals, and her binky. Other than that, it's completely void of all, like, sensory, whatever the word is. And that's how I handle her tantrums. I don't get aggravated. I mean, I do get aggravated. I'm a mom. I'm human. But I do make sure that I will put her in her room and I'll walk away so that I don't accidentally hurt her in some way. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, I'm human. I could make mistakes, but anyways, moving on. My friend Davina said, what is your favorite thing about being a mom? Honestly, it's watching her grow. Knowing that I'm raising her and watching her grow and learn, it amazes me. You know, she picks up on the smallest things. Like earlier today, I handed her her diaper. I was like, here, you want to throw this away? She takes it over. She automatically knows where the diaper genie is. She needs help opening it, but she knows where to go. I handed her her diaper though, and she's like, let's go. I'm like, yep, let's go. Because that's what I usually say to her when I give her her diaper. Let's go. You say mama? No, say mama. She's not gonna be cooperative right now, but just honestly, just watching her grow, even though it hurts my heart to see that she's grown and she's not my squishy little chunk anymore. Huh. You say hi? Okay. Here, come here. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. I love you. Okay, I'll let you go because I see you're getting frustrated. She doesn't like to cuddle very much, so I don't get it very much. But yeah, just watching her grow. Christy asked, I know you enjoy being a first-time mom. I think she meant to say a stay-at-home mom, but what is your dream job outside of the home? So growing up, I wanted to be a vet so bad, but then my allergies developed. I was never always allergic to cats and dogs. It developed as soon as I developed my asthma. I got asthma at the age of 16. Found out I was allergic to my dogs and my cats at 17. So it wasn't always a thing. It developed in my high school years. And it wasn't fun. Here, you can have it on the lowest setting.
I'm a ladybug.
Hopefully I don't get copyrighted for her toy. But yeah. Anyways, as of right now, honestly, I would love to become a pharmacy tech. I don't know why, it's just something I always wanted. And my past is gonna always hinder me from doing what I really want. I'm not gonna get into my past. I don't want to put that out on YouTube right now. But it's hindering me from doing any kind of pharmacy doctor type jobs. Let's see. She also asked, how did you get Ella to self-soothe, go to sleep herself and nap so well? My wee boy is 18 months and never slept through. So the first 5 months of her life, no, 7 months of her life, she was in our room. I put her in the rock and play. That's where she slept a lot. The first couple of weeks, she only slept on me. She wouldn't sleep in her bassinet. She wouldn't sleep in her pack and play. She wouldn't sleep in her crib. She wouldn't sleep anywhere, not even in her swings. She did sleep in her bouncer a couple of times that I managed to get her to sleep in there, but primarily at night she was in the rock and play that was right beside the bed so I could keep an eye on her. And then at 5 months we did start co-sleeping. She slept in our bed for about 2 months, and then she just kept waking up every couple of hours and it was exhausting. And that was around the time that the recall happened for her rock and play. I sent in the parts, got the cash for it and everything like that, and I regret it because I was expecting them to be released with more precautionary things inside the owner's manual and stuff like that. But they haven't been, and I hate that because they were a lifesaver. Anyways, around 7 months, we took the leap, put her in her own room. At first, I started with naps, so she would go down for a nap in her room. And at first, she cried and cried and cried. It got to the point where I didn't think it was gonna work. Then we started, I put a sound machine in her room with some birds. And she She loves her bird on her sound machine. I put it on every night before bed and for nap, and I think that's what helps her fall asleep for the most part. But if she doesn't fall asleep directly when I put her down for a nap or, you know, bed, I won't pull her out of her bed. I mean, I'll go in and check on her now and then and make sure she's okay, that she didn't poop or have some type of issue with her diaper, that she's not, you know, stuck in the rails of her crib or anything like that. I do go in and check on her, but I do keep an eye on her on the security camera on my phone or the TV. But honestly, she just kind of learned to do it all on her own. She will curl up with her pillow, her stuffed animal. She actually didn't get those items until just recently. But I did have 8 Wubbanubs throughout her crib. I put 1 in every corner and then 4 on the edges, you know, to where she rolled, she could automatically grab one, pop it in. The Wubbanubs were life. And I took all of them away because she kept biting through her favorite ones. So I took them all away, put them away, and got her a stronger type, like Binky of the same type. But honestly, since we put her in her room, we haven't really had a ton of issue with her, like, not sleeping through. Then, oh, my hip. Christy also asked, who do you look up to the most? Honestly, a lot of the time, I tend to look up to my mom, even though my mom's not here anymore. She was one of the strongest women in my life that I have ever met, really. You know, she was always there for me or for my brother when we needed her. Even when she was sick and it was hard for her to do anything, she still got up and made dinner and refused help. I aspire to be like that. And a lot of people, I have gotten asked why I don't show my mother-in-law in my vlogs, and that's because she never gets dressed. She's always in hospital gowns, and that's all that she wears. And she's always home. You know, she doesn't get dressed. She doesn't get out of bed. Honestly, it's my mom. My mother-in-law, her grandma, she can't hold her Ella. She can't get down on the floor and play with her. She can't, you know, color with her. She can't do a lot of stuff that most grandmothers should be able to do. She just can't. All right, Christy also asked, which of your traits do you hope Ella has? No, don't touch camera. And which do you hope she doesn't? So I pray to God that she does not get asthma, that she doesn't get the polyps, that she doesn't have allergies as bad as I do. I pray she does not get that. The traits I do hope she gets from me, I hope that she learns to be kind to others, to not pick on other people. I don't do that. I was picked on my entire life, and I would hate for my child to do the same to other kids. I want her to, like, give people and pay it forward even though she doesn't have to. Yeah, a simple pay for the person's behind you's meal, or even a portion of their meal to make their day a little better. Groceries, pay for someone's groceries, gas, you know, whatever. Put others before yourself. Also, are you planning on going to any classes with Ella? So, honestly, there's not really many classes around us. There's one mommy group around us that meet, well, they used to meet once a week. I went, I think, 3 times, and I just didn't like it. They seemed snooty, they seemed snotty, they seemed arrogant. They just seemed altogether like bad people. And I just quit going, and we don't have any other classes like that around. So I don't really foresee me going to any other, or any classes with Ella. Last question she asked is, what other countries would you like to visit? I would love to go to Europe. I would love to go to Europe. It's got so many cool places. I would love to. And then also, my dream place I would love to go is Bora Bora. The water is so gorgeous. One of the underwater bungalows, or overwater bungalows, I would die to stay in one of those, even for one night. Will it ever happen? Probably not. But I would love to get that far. Got more? She just drank the rest of it. Oh gosh. Okay, had to stop, take care of a few things. She likes to get up into this chair, so if you guys see her climb up, don't worry. Okay, so Michaela Ruix asked a couple of questions. So she asked, when you get pregnant with baby number 2, are you going to be redecorating a room for your new baby's nursery or splitting Ella's room? So, we probably won't redecorate a room until after baby's here, and around 6 months old probably. We don't have another room, so we would have to split Ella's room. Unless we move out of this house before that happens, and I don't foresee that happening. I don't foresee moving out anytime in the near future, so we would have to share a room, and that's gonna, I think it's gonna suck, but it's gonna be what we've got to do. Let mommy help you. Am I ready? Last time she got off that way, she turned around and face planted, and I wasn't around to help her get down. I had run to the bathroom, and she climbed up there, and she went to get down, and she face planted almost. It was pretty bad. And then Michaela also asked, how do you feel about co-sleeping? I have no problems with it. I did it for a few months, like I mentioned before. I have no issues with it at all. If you choose to co-sleep for longer, I know someone who has been co-sleeping for almost 2 years now, and I have no problem with it. If you want to do that, that's fine. I prefer not to co-sleep that long because, let's face it, you don't get any me time. You don't get your child away from you so that you and your husband or boyfriend or whatever can be with you. And I mean, yeah, sure, I'm sure you can make time, but I would have loved to co-sleep up until around a year old with her before putting her into her own room, but it was what was best for me and my sanity, because I was getting little to no sleep, and for hers as well, honestly, because she slept so much better once she started in her own room. She does wake up once a night for around 10 minutes, and then she'll curl herself back up and go back to sleep. So I don't pull her out of her room or anything. I just let her resituate and soothe herself back to sleep. But I have no problems with co-sleeping if that's what you choose to do. And then last question, Davina asked, what was your job before becoming a stay-at-home mom? So I worked quite a few jobs, never held a job for longer than 6 months, because that's just how life went. So my first ever job, I was a sandwich artist at Subway. I worked there for about 2 months before I got fired. My manager told me that they were getting complaints from customers that I wasn't doing my job properly and that I was rude to them. However, I know exactly which customers it were because they had mentioned something before calling him. And it was my second week there. Mind you, I was only part-time. I was only working like maybe 25 hours a week. I was part-time. And the chick, my like shift manager, there was only me and her working. She took her lunch break during rush hour. Rush hour was during, you know, lunch break that most jobs got. We had Walmart employees coming. We had like everyone from town coming to get sandwiches. We were busy. You didn't get a break for a solid hour. Like you were just go, go, go. She made her 6-inch sub that she got for free. She went and sat in the lobby with her friend for an hour. I got so backed up. I was making sandwiches. I had to cash them out. I had to do everything. And there were people coming in ordering subs for like 10 people. And I was just like, I need help. I got snippy because I was stressed. It was bad. Then my next job I was working out at the marketplace. It's literally just over town. I was working at the marketplace over there, and I was back in the deli. I was cutting the meats. I was cutting the cheeses. I was cutting, or not cutting, but I was like making pizzas and subs. We did all that stuff back there. And if I worked morning shift, I had to bake bread. If I worked night shift, I had to pull bread. It was just a lot of work, honestly. And I worked there for about 5 months, I think. Well, probably closer to 4. I worked there for about 4 months, and I was at work one day and I got the call about my mom. I got a couple of calls actually throughout that time. I did leave a story time on that. I will link that down or up here in the clickable I button. I do believe it's right here. But I was at work and I got the call about my mom being in the hospital, and then I needed to get down there as soon as possible. The owner of the store told me I couldn't leave until he got there, and he was about an hour and a half away. I left once he got there, and I came home. I packed up some stuff. Tim came home, packed up some stuff, and we went down to my dad's house so I could be with my mom. And I was supposed to work the next day. He told me to go ahead and take that day off. And then the new schedule came out, and he had scheduled me to work 2 days after. So, like, I was working. He told me to take the next day off, and then the next day, he wanted me back to work. I didn't come home for a week, and he fired me. He said it was because I was doing a poor job at my job, because you're not supposed to fire people during, like, due to family emergencies. Can you get out? Come on, get off the blanket. There you go. So you're not supposed to fire people on, like, because of family emergencies, and that's why he fired me. He just couldn't use that as an excuse. So he pretty much broke the law, but found a loophole through it. Then my next job, I believe, was when I was working out at PBP. It was a telemarketing place. I had to sit there. I had to call. We called all different kinds of businesses. the one that we were on when I got fired because I didn't meet quota. So we had to sell so many of our pamphlet booklet things, like we had to sell so many a month or every 2 weeks. We were on the same pamphlet for 2 weeks at a time. So during those 2 weeks, we had to sell so many at a time. I was one pamphlet short and she fired me. And I'll tell you guys what, the pamphlet we were trying to sell, we had to talk to the principal of schools. You know how hard it is to get through to a principal? Those secretaries do a great job. I couldn't get through. I had tried all day. Got through to 3 principals out of like 100 that I had called. And she told me I had 10 minutes to get another sale or else I was jobless. So that 10 minutes went through. Told me to finish out my call that I was currently making and pack my stuff and go home. Didn't even make it through the rest of the day because I didn't meet that quota. It sucked. Water break. These Q&As always make me really thirsty, make my throat scratchy. Anyways, my next job I got through a temp agency. I was working out at McLean Fog out in Sagertown, PA. I was working with metal, and at first they had me sitting at a table inspecting parts. It was fine and dandy. I was blowing through them. I was cracking down. I was doing a fantastic job. I was so dirty, I would get like covered in like grease from the parts being made. It was a filthy job. I had to come home every night at 11 p.m. and get in the shower immediately because it was so bad. And then once I worked at that job. That was my longest job that I ever held. And I worked there for about 8 months. I think it might have been closer to 7. But I worked there for a good long while. Then they put me on a machine. I was doing great at this machine. Yeah, I was cranking out parts. I was doing my job. And then they wanted to train one of the other employees on that machine that I was running. And so they put me on another machine. That machine didn't work out. You had to be tall and strong and comfortable with climbing ladder with grease all over your shoes. I couldn't. The one guy that was running that machine before me that like taught me how to run it, he was like, he taught me for about 2 days. And then the day that, my 3rd day on it, I was just put right on it. He went to drive forklift and I kept having to go and find him, kept having to shut down the machine because the part would get jammed and I wasn't strong enough, or a part would get jammed up in the like receptacle holding bin, and I would have to climb up 10 steps. Like they were like the metal like steps with like the little holes in them, you know. I had to climb up those. They didn't have jagged edges to catch on the tracks of my shoes or nothing like that. I had to climb up these steps, and the first 2 days I felt unsteady on them, and he always did them. I couldn't. So after that day, I don't even think I was on it for a full day by myself. They put me back on my old machine and put the guy that they were training on that machine over on the other machine that I was running. So we kind of swapped places. And then another week goes by and they put me on tables, sorting the parts again. I'm like, okay, I figured maybe they just had someone else that they were training on that machine or something like that. That or the machine was down because the machines went down all the time. And then I think it was a Thursday. I went into work. I clocked in. I sat down, started doing my job like I did every day. And they called me into the office, and I'm like, what? Like, okay, maybe they're putting me on another machine or something. And he's like, why'd you come in today? I was like, what do you mean? Like, I came in because I was scheduled to work. He's like, no, we got a hold of the temp agency and we asked them to give you a call saying we no longer needed your services. Never got a call. Never once got a call from the temp agency about losing my placement of my job. I asked why, they didn't say. So I don't know why they let me go. I thought I was doing a pretty good job, but apparently I just wasn't adequate enough to keep at the job due to the fact that I wasn't tall enough to run the second machine that they had me training on. Then my next job I worked at for 2 weeks, I think. I was technically still in training, and I think it was called CMI, out in Commodore Perry area. I worked out there, like I said, for about 2 weeks, and if you guys go back and watch my pregnancy test when I found out I was pregnant with Austin, I was working there. I had just finished my first week, and I thought I was crying and emotional because I was exhausted. Turns out I was pregnant. Didn't know I was pregnant. I had just found out. I took a test because a lot of my subscribers were commenting on my video that I had posted about my new job. I had posted saying that I was like exhausted, that I was emotional. Honestly, I hated this job, and I thought that's why I was so emotional, because I hated it so much. I ended up getting pregnant, or finding out I was pregnant. And then I went in and told the guy, and they wouldn't let me keep water with me. I had to go into the break room. I could only go into the break room 5 times throughout my shift, and I had to be quick. Like, go in, get a sip of water, come back out. I couldn't stand in there for a few minutes to cool down. I couldn't stand in there to eat a little snack. I couldn't do it. I wasn't even allowed to bring something like this. I wasn't allowed to bring a spill-proof cup. I wasn't allowed anything out on the floor except for my inhaler. That's all I was allowed with me. That made me hate my job even more, knowing that I was pregnant and they wouldn't help me out in any kind of way. And then they also put me on a machine, like press is what they called them. I had to lift 100 pounds 6 times in a shift. I couldn't. Yeah, I'm sure I could have if I really wanted to, but it's hard for me to lift 100 pounds, I'll tell you that much. And to lift it up over my head, I wasn't gonna risk my pregnancy for a job. So he's like, you can either quit or we can let you go. And I just went ahead and quit. I gave them my key card and I told them that I was done. I didn't even finish my shift. At my last shift, I was only there for about 2 hours out of my 12-hour shift. So, and then my latest job that I had for about 3 weeks. We had the scare with Austin. I thought I was gonna lose him, but I hadn't at that point. I did have the subchronic hemorrhage that had burst, and I thought I was having a miscarriage. I didn't end up losing him at that. It was just the subchronic hemorrhage burst, but he was still fine, and that I was thankful for that. But I went in, she stopped me at the door. She's like, no, you are not supposed to be working. I'm like, why? What happened? You know, like, I was on the schedule to come in today. I don't know what's wrong. And she told the temp, like, she said, call your temp agency. So I called the temp agency. All 3 of my latest jobs, I was working out at McLean Fogg, at CMI, and this place was called Warren. All of those places I was working at were through the temp agency. So I went out, I called the temp agency. I was like, hey, Michelle, what's going on? You know, they told me I wasn't even allowed into the building to get my lock off my locker right now. She's like, oh, I tried to call you. I was like, no, you didn't. I leave my number on every voicemail. I call you every week to make sure things are still good, and it was a Monday. She's like, I tried to call you Friday after you got off work. I was like, no, you didn't. You did not try to call me at all. And she's like, yeah, they said that they didn't need you anymore because they said they were letting you go because you were inadequately doing your job. I'm like, okay. I went back to the door and I demanded they let me into the break room so I could get my locker off my lock, or my lock off my locker, and get my work shoes and, you know, all that stuff. I had to turn in my key card to get into the building. And they're like, we can't do that. You have to come back on Friday. I'm like, no, let me in to get my stuff, or yeah, I'm gonna raise hell, because I don't see how they can physically stop me from getting my stuff if I was fired. Honestly, they fired me because of my morning sickness, because I kept having to leave the line. What I did there is I packaged like coffee and collectible, like Star Wars collectibles and like weird stuff. And she always put me on bubbles, and that's where I take the bubbles, I rip them, place them into the box, and send the box down the line. I had to keep leaving my station to go, you know, throw up in the trash can. I kept a trash can right close to me so I wouldn't miss too much, but yeah, I can't help my morning sickness. And that's why they actually fired me. They can't actually say that they were firing me because of morning sickness, but that's what they did. And I couldn't file any kind of lawsuit or anything against them because I was through the temp agency. So, but that's it for this Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a long one and I'm sorry. But I'm sorry. But that's it for this Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys all tomorrow for a vlog. Bye.